And so
Welcome.
here's our first problem in CodeWars. So when you go into CodeWars, you'll see on the left, I'm logged in, and you can see on the right-hand side, it shows I'm 6 KYU. That's my rank. This is some image I have that shows me. So I'm logged in. I think this, I'm not sure what this number does, but we're now looking at, let me just go here. If I go into practice,
Yeah, how many
click on practice.
katas you solved, I believe.
I think
It
this is how
shows.
many katas I've solved. Yeah,
With the 6 KY is the rank?
that's my
Yeah.
rank. Yeah.
How come I have 8 KYU on mine? I think I might
As a
have used it
beginner.
before.
You have, I'm sorry, what KYU?
If you have
8
8,
KYU is what I have here.
Right, so that's
you're the beginner.
That's the bottom level.
That's the bottom level. Okay. Okay. So 8 is lower than 6.
Right.
Got it.
And so you can see, if you're looking at, at my screen, you're seeing my screen, right? Hold on, let me just see what you're seeing. Yes. So you can see that there's all these problems, and they're ranked by the difficulty level, right? So obviously an 8 is easier than a 7, which is easier than a 6. And then you can sort through them. So I could find all these. Right now they're listed by how recent they are, and people are always putting up new problems. Kind of fun, right? So I'm appreciative of that. Oh, I see. Sorry, hang on a second. Bear with me 1 second. There we go.
Just everyone get familiar with the environment, what you see there.
And I can scroll through. I could find, I could say I'm only interested in 8 KYU, and then I can search for those, and then this list will change, and I'll only see the 8 ones, right? So let's start with an 8 level.
How did you get this second bar? I'm just wondering.
Which second bar is that?
Second from the left. So it's popping up. It's not popping when you hover over on the left, all the way to the left.
Oh, this.
Practice.
Right.
So you hit practice and you got this bar to sort the challenges or katas.
Right. So, what we're doing is we're practicing. There's lots of other stuff in here that you could go through, but that's not what we're doing today. So I've chosen a handful of ones that are going to be fun to do. That's not the one. Hold on. It's this one. No. All right. So I just need to go back up. And so the first one I thought we would do is this. It's called Find Out Whether the Shape is a Cube. And so, the problem is that, we know that the volume of a cube is the length times width times height, but we're not given all of that. What we're given is just one side of a figure, and we need to determine. We're given the side of a figure, and we're given the volume of a figure, and so we have to determine whether the figure that they're being described there is a cube or not.
John, can you share the link to the one you are going to share or to practice?
Oh, yeah, yes.
And then we can just do it all together.
Here you go.
Thank you.
So this is the kata.
So why did you choose these kata specifically?
It was fun to play with and think about. It's an 8 KYU. I wanted to start at the lowest level. That's why I chose this one.
Okay.
The solution is not very complicated, but it still takes some thinking. So, okay, so I go train again, because I just went through this. So by clicking on train, we then will see the problem, which is on the left. We have 3 tabs here. So there's output. If I clicked on past solutions, I can see how I solved this the last time. And output will give us, will come up automatically when we run this. So right now, there's nothing here. So we look at the instructions, and then we're given on the right here, we're given an IDE to work with. And so we can edit in here. So this is where you all kick in. So look at the instructions. Someone forgot to use the proper record keeping, so we only have the volume and the length of a single side. And we have to figure out whether this is a cube or not. If it's a cube, we'll return true. If it's not, we'll return false. Or we'll return false if the numbers given are invalid. So, you know, different authors will provide different prompts in the code itself. So what we're given, of course, is just the name of the code, is the name of the function that we're going to write, and what the arguments passed in. And you can see down here, sample tests. If I write return 0 here, and I do a test, we're going to see, okay, it worked. Some of it passed. I think this is completely accidental, right? Let's do something better. Let's return a string, because then they'll all fail. And what they're using, they've got a built-in library that uses, that does assertions and testing. And basically it takes your code and it runs it through it. So, you know, in line 1 in the tests, we've got a cube checker, we're passing in -12 and 2. Well, this should automatically be false. Why? Well, because -12 is not a volume, right? We need to check to make sure that the input is valid. And so, you know, that's this line here. So anyone have some suggestions? I'm going to take this out.
Should I? I think what we need to do is just to check if there's a negative number in either side of volume, it returns false.
Yes.
And
that's right. So if we say, so if volume is less than 0, or side is less than 0, right? Return false.
I think less than or equal to 0, because the side of 0 shouldn't exist.
Very good. When I was going through this, I did less than 0, and it passed. Most of them passed. But then if you look at line 5, that one failed. I'm like, well, wait a minute. And then I looked, I went, oh yeah, okay. So less than or equal, good. So if, then it's returned false, great. So that will work.
And then the last option will be to return the cube of side should be equal to the volume.
Return
so side raised to power 3 double equals volume.
like that?
Yeah.
All right, good. Let's test it.
What the second return statement? And that wouldn't run anyways. Since it's,
oh, I have to take this return out, right? Yeah, there we go. Passed them all. So then, okay, so just so you understand how CodeWars works, we passed the initial test. It passed 12 tests. Now what we do is we do an attempt. We say, okay, we passed those tests. Now we're going to put it against the big test. So we hit attempt, and now it goes through 112 different tests. We could look at these in detail if we wanted to, right? It just tells us what got passed in. You know, here for this one, for instance, volume is equal to 12, side is equal to -1. Well, that should fail, right? And so it does. So we get a thing. Then what we can do is we can go back to our code and refactor it. Maybe we just got a quick and dirty answer, and we decide we want to clean it up, make it more elegant. So you have that opportunity. And then when you're done, you hit submit. And, you know, you get some points. So maybe this should go up to, maybe not, I don't know. But here is, what we see now are a bunch of other solutions. So this person returns 0, which if it's less than volume, return 0 if less than volume is equal to size, right? So that's one thing. Then here's something similar, right? There's a bunch of different stuff. This guy used a lambda, which is a built-in, just a temporary function that we can include within our function. I don't see anything like what we did, but that's fine. So these are a bunch of solutions. The solutions are not available unless you solve the problem, or you can get the solution anyway, but then you don't get credit for it.
Do you think this is used in some colleges, CodeWars?
Actually, where it's used is for job interviews.
Was it?
I've heard, I've talked to lots of people. They said, "Oh yeah, I had a CodeWars problem," and they'll give you a CodeWars problem, and maybe it's. I think CodeWars, you can buy it. You can. I don't know exactly how that works, but you can. I've heard people like, I'm going for a coding job, and the first thing they did is they gave me a bunch of CodeWord problems to figure it out. So it's a nice way to see that. Cool. Well, nice work, everybody. Let's see. What was the next thing I wanted to do? I think it was this one. What is this? Sorry. Yeah, it is this one. Here is the kata. Let's go back. Here are the instructions.
Link, please.
Yep. I'm just getting there. This one I hadn't finished yet. Here's the link. Is that the link? Nope. Sorry, hang on. Whoops. Yeah. So this one is a little bit different. We're given a sequence of words. Here we have alpha, beta, beta, gamma, 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 delta, alpha, beta, beta, gamma, 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 delta. And we need to pull out the duplicate words. Now for those of you who don't know Python, in Python, there's a construction called a set. And the set will actually remove duplicates. It does not allow duplicates. So that's how I started solving this problem, but I didn't finish it yet. So we can do this one together. So we start off with. So does everyone understand the problem?
Let's talk again. Let's just read it again.
Okay, good.
For
So
recording purpose.
Our task is to remove consecutive duplicate words from a string, leaving only the first words entries. So,
for example, alpha, beta, beta, gamma, gamma would be alpha, beta, gamma.
Right. And so we want to. That's the rule. That's the goal here. So, anyone want to give it a start?
What are we returning? Just the string.
You're returning the string. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, Darnell.
Well, I would say, first of all, we need to split it.
Yep, that's what I would think too. So
along the spaces.
Right. So I'm just going to call this. I don't know. You got a variable name for me?
We can keep the same variable name. We will just overwrite it. But does it return none?
It would be no. We have to.
Yeah, it would be none.
We have to what?
It will return none, I think.
Right now it will, yeah. So we'll take out the return. But I need to assign that to, I want to create a temporary holder for the string, because we have the string, but we want to remove the duplicate from the string. So I want to make, I agree with you, we split it, which turns it into a list. So I'll call this string list is equal to s.split. Hi, Darnell. Right, so it's split on so now we've got a list. So my thought here was that we turn it into a set. However, the problem with a set is that it's random. It's not an ordered. It's not an ordered list. It's not an ordered collection. So we could do this for range. Excuse me, for I in range length of list. What I want to do is check to see if string, I'm going to call this SL, sorry, just because I don't have to write so much. What I'm thinking is, we look at each word and compare it to the word next to it. If they're the same, well, then we remove it. So SLI is equal to SLI plus 1.
This is gonna you're gonna have an out of range error.
Yeah, that's why I stopped. Okay, good. So how would I get around that?
Unless you use slices.
Okay, we could slice this. So just for those of you who don't know, a slice is, what would be my slice? My slice will just
It
allow
will be
us.
I to I plus 1 will be equal to SL of
Oh, yes.
or does the next, yeah, I to I plus 1. So that will give you just I. And the second slice will be I plus 1 to I plus 2.
Well, wouldn't I still run into an out of range error?
No, with the slices, it doesn't run into out of range error,
No.
but it does with the index.
Okay. So I plus 1 is I plus 1 to I plus
I
2.
plus
So
2.
you said? Like that.
Yes.
Okay. So
if this is equal,
so then if I then I want to remove I.
so we just pop slice of I. Or no, it wouldn't be the last one. So pop I. Yeah.
Okay, and then I want to turn the whole thing into a list. Okay, so we go through that. There's our loop, right? Oh no, yeah.
Yes.
So we go through our loop. Then we're going to turn this into. Then we turn it into a string.
Turn it back to a string. Yes. So just return quotation mark.
What?
No, to turn a list to a string, you have to go with the quotation return. That's correct. The quotation mark with a space in between, then come out of it dot join, and then pass in SL.
Like
So let's
that.
test it and see. Yes. Oh, it feels somewhere.
Let's see. Line 11. No, let's see. That's in the test. So line 11 didn't work, but line 11 doesn't have anything. Wait. Workspace default. Some kind of just CodeWars fun. Pop index out of range. So
the pop index. Okay, yeah, because oh yeah. So let's go length of length of SL minus 1, so it never gets out of range. We don't need to check on the last variable because we're checking the second to the last and the last on the last iteration. So we're going to check in range length of SL minus 1.
Length of SL minus 1, right.
Yes.
That. Right, because we don't have to go to the last.
To the last one.
We don't have to do the last one, right. Let's test it again.
Still
Again, out of
fails.
range.
Oh, it could go I plus 2 as well. Oh, no, that wouldn't affect it because it's a slice. It wouldn't affect it. Doesn't matter if it's I plus 2. Huh.
Darnell, if you're watching what are we doing, we are with CodeWars. So you probably need to create an account and practice with us. So the link in the chat is the one we are practicing together right now. Feel free to jump on the different level of katas. So we are practicing kata level 7.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. Okay.
Go ahead.
What I prefer to do, maybe I should share my screen instead and then let me run it a different method.
Yeah, no problem. You go ahead. That's fine.
So let me share my screen. Sorry, give me a sec. I'm trying to look for it. Okay. So
yes.
Okay. So my thinking will be this. Instead of going with this, yeah, we'll first of all split it. Since we don't want to use set because that will change the order.
Right. That's right.
First we'll split it. Okay, and then we create an empty list. Let's call this the new S.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's going to be equal to an empty list. So we go for I in range length of S. If S of I, if S of I is in, lies in news, the new S, looks like news. So let's make it new underscore S.
That's really good. I like that. I like what you're doing.
So if it lies in this underscore S, we're just going to pass it.
You should not pass. It's going to be continue.
Or continue. Both work, I think. Oh yeah, it's going to click on. No, it's pass. I think both work.
Okay. Pass will work.
We can try both and see continue. And then else, what we do is we append new S, new underscore S dot append. And we append S of I.
Yeah, so yeah, let's give that a shot.
So then we return new S, new underscore S.
No, that's a list. You want to return that as a string, and the way you.
Oh yeah, so that'll be the join. So that's true. We're gonna
empty string. Dot join.
Join. New S. So let's test it.
Oh no, it's a different. Yeah, but no, it's not. They have to be consecutive. It's not. We're not getting. Oh, and so that's why.
Oh yeah, it has to be okay. Yeah, consecutive. That's right. Okay, so it has to be just the next one.
It has to. Yeah. So. It's the range error. It's the index error that's the issue. So how do we do that?
Okay, if it's going to be consecutive, we can try a different method. Let me see for I
like the way we did this in terms of pop, but maybe it's not pop. It's it could be delete even.
Yeah, we could use delete.
Fine. Pop's fine. It does the same thing for our purposes here. Pop just returns the value where delete just removes it. But pop removes it and then returns it.
Returns the value, yes.
But we're not collecting it, so it falls into our bit bucket.
Okay, so what I'm going to say is if S of I is equal to the new S of -1, so that'll be, if it's equal to the very last item, then ignore it, and that'll be consecutive.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
So let's test this. Still fails.
Well, this is
Oh yeah,
this
because
got
for
an
the
index out of range.
yeah, I think for the empty cell, when it's empty and you wouldn't be able to check that condition.
Oh, it's not. No, if S is Si is equal to new underscore S -1.
So if it's equal to the last value you add into this, then it would trigger. But when this is empty, it wouldn't work. So what I can do is I can put in a value that I think would not be.
No, I would just take. So S is now a split. S is now a list. When you
This
go
is now a list, yes. But what happens is I think the first check is checking to see if Si equals the empty set of -1, and this would be on that there's no index of -1 in this empty set. So I'm putting a value there, which is just a space that wouldn't affect much. So you can check Si versus the space, and when it's not the same, it would append it. And then at the end, space wouldn't affect us when we're trying to switch back to.
You could strip it. You could use strip.
Or we can strip it off. So
But
let's just see how this.
Hey,
Okay.
but aren't you introducing memory that you don't have to? Why not just check if it's not empty and then just put and in the same line? Because then the if line on
That's
line
right.
6 wouldn't run if the first condition is that list that you introduce is empty. But do it in the front, because in the front it won't run the and.
Okay, wouldn't bother doing the other part, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, if new, if new underscore S double equals empty set and.
No, you could just put if not new underscore S, because not would equate to an empty set, but you have to remove the quotes on line 3 of the list.
So new
quotes on line 3.
New S needs to be an empty list, right? Is that what you're saying right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You added quotes on line 3 to the set. Wasn't the set just an empty set?
No, it's not a set. It's a list. But yeah, you got to take those quotes out, right? So if it's an empty set, if it's an empty list,
it's empty, just append right away.
Yeah, and if that doesn't work, you could check the length of if length not greater than 0.
Right. So, but you got to remove the quotes out of line 3.
Out of line 3. Oh yeah, sure. I think I forgot that. Okay, cool. So let's test this.
If not new, what's wrong there?
Okay, maybe.
Oh, you're saying no because this needs an index. Nope. You can. It's not that. It's. I think this new S should just be empty. Just say, no, we need it. You can't compare. You can't compare an element to an empty list.
An element to an empty list.
Yeah, SI is the same as new underscore S empty. With no index.
Yes. So I said if it's not empty.
No, it should say if
then that would be true. So because this will evaluate to true when it's not empty. If it's empty, this will evaluate to false, and this will not run at all.
That's right.
Yeah, so it would then go ahead and append. But if it's not empty, it would then check this, and if it's the same as the last item, then it would just, it wouldn't do anything. Otherwise, it would append.
but it doesn't. But the IDE does not like
That, yeah.
comparing
Let me
SI.
try and see. Okay, it doesn't seem to like. So let's go say if new S is not equal to the empty set.
The problem is SI is equivalent to new underscore S with an empty brackets.
SI is, yeah, of course.
If new underscore.
Which is what if we go is not equal to the empty set.
You could try that. I don't know if that'll work.
Let's give it a try. Hope I don't have too much space here. Yeah. No.
No, it doesn't like the empty. It doesn't like the empty brackets.
Okay, equals new. Oh yeah, this should be -1. That's my bad. I didn't notice that. Sorry, I wasn't listening to it. And this should be of -1. Looking at the SI equal to the very last value, and this is not equal to that. So I think that was my problem. Yeah. We're comparing with the very last value. So now it passes. So let's try again, put the not new S, because I think that should also work. Not new S should also work as well. No, it doesn't. And you put it in brackets.
Why?
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not working. But let's see if I put it in brackets so we know that. Oh.
Somehow it's weird that because new underscore S is empty. So there is no -1. There's no if it's an empty set, if it's empty list. So maybe
yeah, there will be no -1 for sure.
Maybe we do put in the quotes then. Except then it would screw up that first condition.
No, you did reverse logic. It would be if new S, because new S would have something.
Oh,
so it
yeah.
has something, and now you would get the last indice.
Yes. Well, let me check again. I thought pass would also work. So let's take a look at this as well. Yeah, pass works. And I think also the triple dot also works. Yeah. But I don't know, this is going to be, this will have a very huge time complexity. The O of whatever is going to be really huge, because if it passes in a very large set, a very long list of strings, then it's going to take forever to run. I think it might time out even if there's a time limit on this. So there should be another way to do it without going through a for loop.
It's just going to be linear time.
Yeah, linear time. And so the bigger the list or the bigger the string length, the more time it will take.
Right, but it's in a linear relationship. It's not exponential. So if you gave it 1 billion items, it would take 1 billion checks, which is 1 second. If it was a gigahertz processor.
No, it will still take well, I don't know how this works, but
right, the
should we try
time and space complexity is.
Let's attempt. Let's see if it goes through all.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah, and if we submit, okay, I know on lead code they give you the time in which you have to solve the problem. So if your solution takes too long, it will time out, and then you don't get credit for that. You need to find a more efficient solution.
So this second one, the one you're hovering over, that's pretty much what you did, isn't it?
If word else the split, if word not in results, result will append word, else results -1 not equal to word. Okay, if it's not there at all, you append it. And if the last one is not equal to the current word, append as well. And then return that. This is what we did. But here they just have more lines. So he's appending if the index, the first word, the first item in the split, if it's not at all in the results, it's appended. And then it checks on the next item if it's not if it's in the result already and it's not equal to the last one, it would append it. And if it's equal to the last one, it wouldn't do nothing. And then that just gives you only the consecutive ones.
Oh, good. And so then it would allow for multiple of the same.
Yes, it will allow
Cool.
multiple of the same.
Good one. Nice job. Nice job. All right.
That's a good,
Come on. That was great. You want to try? Should we try one more?
Of course, yeah, sure. So you
Then we're out of time.
can take over the screen share and choose the next one.
So the next one is this is a I think this is a, I'm not sure. Let me just see what this is. This is a 6 KYU. It's a little more difficult, but it's actually, I found this to be easier. But I love this idea of a narcissistic number.
Share your screen. Your screen is not shared.
Yeah, I'll share it.
Okay.
So here, so that does, I like the title. Does my number look big in this? So the narcissistic number or Armstrong number is a positive number, which is the sum of its own digits, each raised to the power of the number of digits in a given base. So if we have a number 153, which has 3 digits, we take the sum of each digit and cube it. So 1 to the third plus 5 to the third plus 3 to the third is 153. So that's a narcissistic number, whereas 1652 is not. And you can see the example. So what we do is we're returning true or false, depending on whether the given number is a narcissistic number in base 10.
Okay. I think this should be a one-liner.
Yeah, you could be. No, I don't think so. I didn't do. I did it. I took me a little. It took me. What do I have here? 13 lines. No, I have 9 lines.
Okay, no, yes, it's more than one. You have to first of all split, change the number to a string, and then yes,
Right.
put it
Yes,
in the
that's
list
right. Yep.
or something like that. Okay, yeah.
So, what I did is I created a variable sum, made it equal to 0.
Yeah.
And
let's
then
go
I
through
turned, the value, which is an int, I turned it into a string. So that's as far as I'll provide here. What do you think? And for the rest
that's
of
a
you,
good start.
feel free to dump in. Yeah. What was the other thing? I created a variable for the length.
I don't think we need the length.
We do need the length because that's the number that we're cubing, or that's the number we're raising the other numbers to a power.
We're not cubing the length, we're cubing the digits.
We're
So I would
not
have thought with
But we're not necessarily cubing it. If it's a 4-digit number, so here, because it will pass in not just 3-digit numbers.
oh, we're cubing to the length. Oh yeah, to the length of the okay, yeah, sure. That's right, you're right. Okay, so we need the sum. Okay, it creates some value. Then we make a value string. All right.
So then we need a loop, right? So
we loop through.
I said for ion range and the val len.
But the value string value be value string equals str of value, line 3.
Yeah, that's the string. Oops. Val, yeah. Val. Oh, sorry.
This equals.
I did this wrong. Hold on. That equals string, right? Like that. So this is our string. This is the length. This is our exponent. So for ion range val len, what I did was this: sum plus equals, and I turn everything into an int. And I took the val string.
What I prefer to do, because this
Yeah, go
adds
ahead.
an extra calculation. Just why don't you go for I in value instead of the range of val length? Just go for I in value because value is a string.
It's got to
that's
be.
correct for
Oh,
I in
no,
value.
it's for I in val string.
Yeah, in val string. Sorry, I in val string. Then integer of I. So sum plus equals integer of I, and then make cube it.
Then it's got to. Well, it's got to be val len.
Val length, yeah, but okay, val length, yeah. So the cube, not the cube, sorry, the length.
Right.
So we're going to return.
So now we have to return true or false depending on. So we return.
Yes.
Oh, we return this. So some
return sum equals
value.
Yeah, sum equals value. Sorry.
We don't have to convert it back, right? So this is simpler than what I did, which is great.
Yeah.
Otherwise, return false. No, we don't even need to. So this can go away.
Yep.
$371.
This one should equal true.
Oh, because I did this wrong. Hold on.
Plus equals, okay.
There we go.
Okay, yeah.
Let's do an attempt. Yeah, hey, good one. We'll submit that. Nice job. Udemize, you're doing awesome. So good.
Thank you.
This was fun, right? Let's see this.
Absolutely, yes.
This one? This is pretty simple. This is pretty one line. Value is equal to sum of int of x times the length of the. Whoops, what happened? Sorry. Whoops. Past solutions is what I want.
The code is.
No,
yeah.
I want. I'm sorry. Here, view solutions. This is what I want. So this one here, if return the value is the same as the sum of int of x times the exponent x is pretty good. This
okay, yeah. So okay.
Wow, that's cool.
The sum of this. Okay, use the tuple. Okay, or a generator actually.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Good. So we're. I think we're done. This was very fun, and I so appreciate everybody and how we did. Yulia, you want to add anything?
I have a question because the level of participant is very different here. So not everyone was able to follow, including the fact that if beginners will be watching it, they will be like, where shall they start? So maybe the list of functions, you would recommend them and point them to learn first. What actually guide them how to start with kata and what the first step they have to do before they enter into the kata, into the CodeWars before.
Well, you have to learn a little Python.
Yes. How do you do that? And to what level?
If you know the 8 KYUs are not that hard. Generally it can be 1 or 2 lines. It could be a lot of lines if you need to work through it, which is also fine. And that you don't get extra points if you solve it more elegantly. You get the points if you solve it, period. So you could solve it, write 10 lines of code, which could be written in 1 line of code, but you didn't write it that way. That's absolutely fine. So, there are some really great resources out there to learn Python.
Put it in the chat, please. Share everything.
Really would say,
Udemizo, I was very impressed with your level. Darnell, good eye.
Yeah, that was great. Um,
Pair
is W3 schools.
If you,
just pair programming.
So that's the first place I would look.
So you suggest to start with W3 School.
Yeah, they've got a nice tutorial which take you through all the basics of Python.
Anyone? Any better solutions or other solutions? Just
well,
sharing
for
is
me, I
good.
think the best course of Python to learn Python is Angela Yu's course on Udemy, 100 days of code.
100 what?
100 days of code. Let me
100
put the
days of
link to the
code.
course.
Mm.
It's not free, it's paid.
But it's
You have
cheap
to
one.
buy it, but it's the best one kind to learn Python. She explains it very her explanations are very clear, so
Mhm.
easy to follow. And that's what I used to learn. I was to take about 3-4 months to get to the entire thing. I didn't finish, but I think I got most of the basics and I can build on what I've learned so far. So I'm just gonna find the
Pretty
course.
good. 100 days of code. I'm just looking it up.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. It's $100.
But just put
Usually,
it in your cart and wait. I think by the next day they see you don't buy it, they're going to drop the price for you, so you can get it for maybe under $20.
yep.
So don't buy
Usually,
it at the high price. Just leave it in your shopping cart and wait until the price drops.
Oh, well, if you look, I'll show you my screen. I can get it for $20 right now.
Yeah, okay.
I see it for $17 per now.
Oh, that's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
good.
so you can.
Oh,
Yeah, sure.
I
That's
have
how
some
you do
options.
my works.
I have some options as well, guys. But I'll wait.
So this is what I used, and it's very good. I recommend it 100% any day, anytime.
that's excellent. It's really good.
Yay.
All right, can I share my screen?
Yeah, go
Sure.
ahead, Christopher.
Sorry, I'm late, guys. So
Oh, no worries. We're happy to see you.
All right, so a little bit of context. I started studying for data science specifically in November 2020 after doing some full stack work. And then I found out about data science. And there was an organization called DeFi, which has now changed their name to AI Planet, which I have on screen. They offer very, very challenging mini boot camps. And the mini boot camps are really around data science specifically, but they have they have about 7 core ones, and I've completed about 11 of them outside the core. But you got deep learning, you got introduction to NumPy, you got explainable AI, you got introduction to supervised learning, you got Python basics, you got NLP, you got pandas, you got matplotlib.
So pandas and NumPy are NumPy is a library for
Yep.
a lot of data computations, and
Yep.
Panda is a really great library for
It is.
manipulating data, turning it into data frames, and do it. It's a
Yep.
very, very robust,
And then
mature library. It's great.
and then most recently, I as more of a refresh, I went to do this 5 weeks of data science. That was good. Of basically a review. This does also go over R, this particular boot camp, as well as Python. It's mainly Python, but R, and then this deep learning again, which I had already done, and then this one is the data engineering one, which I did not finish, but but it's nice because anything that you subscribe to, even if you don't finish the criteria, you still always have access to the content. So, which I like. And then their community is great. I mean, they have an active Discord channel. And they most recently asked me to contribute to their content too, which is always good too. They're offering money for something. I don't know if I'll take it for it because I'm more about giving back to the community. But they're opening up this marketplace or it may have opened where you could browse AI models, and if you can actually contribute to the community based on the models that you make or ones that you've deployed before. So so this is a really, really good one. They have a special place in my heart because I when I learned about what they were doing, first of all, it was challenging, which was great. Number two, it's very the Discord is really, really good. I mean, you're in it with a whole bunch of people all over the world, and they do live sessions as well. And yeah, I definitely recommend them. The other one that I recommend is it's not a quick one, but it's World Quant University, based out of Houston, and they have a 8-module course that there is an exam, entry exam to get in, but it is free. It's hard and it takes a long time. I've been doing it since about June, but it's also free. But the modules go through, like, for instance, I'm almost done with 6 of 8, and it comes with its own Jupyter Lab virtual machine, which is good, so you don't have to worry about going to a separate IDE for it. So, for instance, I'm literally about to, I gotta finish doing a module, but you can spin up your virtual machine, and what I'll show you is what a real course like in a second. It takes a little while to load up. But between those two, those are both free, as they say, except for your time. But you learn a lot. They also have a very active community. The thing I like about this one, unlike the other one, is that they have daily office hours. I'll just show you like for instance. So for instance, right now I'm building a I'm building a Dash app. Dash allows you to make web apps in Python,
Right.
which is really good. But they go over it all. They go over unsupervised learning, KNN clustering, Guardian boosting, random forest, decision trees, how to connect with an API, all of it. But it takes a long time because every module is there's 8 of them, but out of the 8, there's 5 modules for each one. So it's really 8 times 5. So and every module has 20 basically benchmarks that you have to do. So it does take a long time, but it's really good. And then the other thing about it is that it allows you to I'll show you the support system, because I'm really about the support system when it comes to a program. They within the actual criteria of the curriculum, for instance, if you run this your first module, it then brings you to a Vimo video, which is then run by the lead data scientist, whose name is Nicholas. So he gives you information on what you're going to learn, and then he gives you, it's just really good. But the thing is, there's 20 of them. Like you got to do this 20 times.
It's
So
a real,
it does take a long
course.
time. But it's definitely well worth it. I'm almost done, and once I'm done, I don't think I'm doing any boot camps for a while because I've done a lot. But those are my two. And then the last thing, the low hanging fruit is Kaggle. Kaggle
Yep.
is the Venus Highness like warehouse, right? So
Yeah, Kaggle's great. There's so many different data sets to play with.
and then if you got if you all want, I have my own free data science lab, innovative lab that I've had for some time. If you want, I can share this URL, and it actually has the places where I was talking about. It has the URL to WorldQuant. It also has the URL to Pluralsight, where I get from work, and then it also has Kaggle, is where I was talking about before.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, you should give us that URL.
Yeah. All right. So that's my contribution.
That's so great. Thank you.
Thank you, Christopher.
Yeah. Oh, and then one super last thing is I come from a front end background, but I don't like doing it anymore because it's like, well, excuse me, it's a means to an end. But the one thing that I really love is there's this application framework called Streamlit. Streamlit is owned by cloud giant Snowflake. So Snowflake is huge, but what's nice about Streamlit is Streamlit allows you to program to make interactive web apps for free, and there's no HTML, CSS, or JavaScript needed. All you do is you deploy it from GitHub. So, for instance, this is actually the GitHub repo for it. So once you're on GitHub, this is the actual repo. So if I were to, let me just sign in real quick. The reason why I like it is that you get instant code attestation, and things change on the fly.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is you have your Python code here, and this is the app. I mean, this is the code for it, right? This is all the code, and then this is the actual app itself, right? So that's the app. You can see it says, what it says, and then the nice thing about it is once you have it, once it's loaded in, you can then change it inside of GitHub. So GitHub becomes your IDE.
Oh, that's great.
And you can change it. So I'm going to say, that's it. Right. So I'm going to, you saw it. It doesn't say it now. Right. Where'd it go? All right. It doesn't say it now. And then I'm going to change it. I'm going to save my repo down here. And give it a second. Boom. Hi, Hudson. Right. So you get.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah, you get instant gratification. Again, I don't take credit for the platform. It is free, and Snowflake bought them for $800 million last year. Well, hopefully it stays free, but even if it wasn't, I would still pay for it. But the nice thing about Streamlit is that their gallery has all the code that you need to actually either duplicate something here, where, for instance, someone made an NLP project. Someone made this, and what's cool about this is, like a lot of things, you want the source code, right? So someone made a periodic table creator, which is loading up, but it's all based on Python stuff, right? So yeah. So now this is all interactive. So you can change all this stuff, but then the other thing is the background code for this is right here. So if you ever want the source code, you got the source code to the GitHub, just like I was showing you with mine. So you got everything you need
fabulous.
right here. All right, so Streamlit, the two places I was talking about learning, and don't have imposter syndrome. Those are my
There you
three
go.
messages. All right, so I'll stop sharing.
That's great. Christopher, thank you. That was awesome. Incredibly great.
All right. You're welcome. Eula, I told you, I know I haven't been active, but I've been busy. So
That's good. That's good. And resources are
around.
also worth it a lot.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you for sharing. I'm
you're
so
welcome.
proud by you, Christopher. You're doing great. And
Yeah,
so you were so good as well today. It's just I'm very impressed by you guys. You're so cool.
One humbling thing is, is that I'm going to be doing public speaking soon. So there's a organization called TU.com. TU.com owns edX. If you haven't heard of edX, edX is like, all right. So TU.com owns edX, who owns Trilogy Education Services. So this is one of the things that I've realized over the last year, that when I've really started to lean into Python and data science, is just volunteer as much as you can, help people, because what's happened is, as a result of me mentoring people in Python, I was contacted by 2u.com last year, and in May I'm going to be doing a 60-minute webinar for 2u.com. And the reason why that's impactful to me is I come from, I got a lot of degrees, I guess, but one of the things that is humbling for me is that the places where I mentor people in Python and is a lot of some of the universities I've gone to school for. So I went to UConn for undergrad. So they actually have a data analytics. So UConn right here, UConn Engineering. They have a data analytics and a front end boot camp. So what I think is going to happen after I start doing these webinars is I may actually be able to go back to my alma mater and do some.
That's good.
Some teaching.
Christopher, do you know that TU software engineer director Juliana lives in Hudson Valley as well, and she is actively participating, and just we've been here together with beer over beer, what we did last Thursday, remember?
Yeah.
So she will be hosting actually the International Women Day.
Awesome.
March 29th. Come over and meet her in person. Ask her if she's hiring. With your skills, being invited here and there, you probably would be a huge resource. Don't miss your chance. So we have celebrities right here.
No, I hear you. I live in Connecticut, so I am a little ways away. So, but I'm probably not as far as some other people. But
her team
but
is all over the world.
Anything virtual, I tend to try to be at. But guess my last thing is I started learning data science in 2020, and 3 years later,
look where you are.
I'm where I am. And
impressive.
I work for a Fortune 500 company, and I work in data science. And
feel free to drop your LinkedIn link in the chat as well. So
no, I will. And here's the thing. When I transitioned from a retail store manager job or career at Verizon in 2020, I was 48 years old. All right, so ageism was a concern for me. Got over that quick. I come from an underrepresented community. I'm a Black African overweight African American man. You know, I didn't go to Harvard. I didn't go to all these places. I went to UConn, and I went to University of Denver for my master's.
Mhm.
And I started this journey at 48, and now I'm 52.
Bravo.
And
Thank you
things
for sharing.
are doing really well. But
You-
the thing is, I gave back. So now that I'm giving back, I'm able to do these educational webinars and things like that for 2u.com, which is one of the biggest companies in the world. So
Yep. Thank
and
you
I'm
for
doing it. I'm
sharing.
doing that for free. So it's the law of the farm for me. If you plant seeds without trying to get reciprocation, it comes back tenfold. And then after that, then maybe I'll start charging people. But you know, but it's all about, I only got here from volunteering. So I will never stop trying to give, because when you give, you get.
Yep. You can stop sharing your screen.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, guys.
Thank you, Christopher. Thank you, Udemezzo.
Thanks.
I was so impressed. I would say, I just watching you coding, it was so good.
Yeah, I'll try. Let's try. 3
Darnell,
years. I don't know where I'm gonna be in 3 more years.
Darnell, do you want to add anything? What are you up to? What are you doing? 2 more minutes. I will stop recording.
Do you hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Because my connection said it was unstable. No, I did want to add something very brief. I mean, I'm also not of the being trained by an academic school. I'm actually a book reader. I'm a self-taught engineer. So I think out of all those resources, we do have to respect that not everybody learns the same. And one of my methods has always been reading books. And so like I just got a ton of books, and my method that I use is I read until I get stuck, and then I go to the next book, and then I get a little further, then I go to the next book. And though the internet is in our face, there's also an aspect of everything else also going on in the same place. That book seemed very calm and comforting, and if you really look at it, like this one is the not one of my favorites, but this is like Python Essential Reference. Like this book is old and packed with all the core Pythonic ways that, you know, will guide you into the future, but not a lot of people open them anymore. But since that's the case, you can find them really cheap on some of these these old bookstores. So if you know, I wish we could open a bookstore, because Barnes and Noble's coding aisle doesn't look the way it used to look. But that's really my way, and I'm the same with new stuff, like learning newer languages. And it's a good like core foundation. Just my point of view, again, people learn differently, but from a core foundation standpoint, you meet a lot of people in the profession that may know how to get to one thing fast, but they don't have core knowledge, or they don't have overlapping knowledge to different languages, or how that language is used in different industries. So that's how I feel like I've gained an advantage through books, and always being willing to like open a book to really, you know, cross that up. But Stack Overflow as well, I'm pretty big in, and just, you know, sticking to what people are doing, how to solve hard problems. And yeah, that's it. I mean, I have a pretty good basis in Python. I do use other languages as well, but it's all the same strategy. To me, I'm pretty agnostic when it comes to coding. So I'll never like raise one flag or the other. So, but that's all
Amazing.
I have
Thank
to
you for
add.
sharing.
Just, yeah, don't be afraid to, you know, it sounds intimidating to take 3 textbooks home, but sometimes that's what gets the job done.
Well said. Well said. Thank you, everyone. I will stop
Right.
recording.